let's talk about time to licensure. So every year, NCARB releases NCARB by the numbers, or NBTN for short, which is a report exploring sort of the latest trends in architecture as a profession and an industry. And one of the data points that we include in the publication is this concept of time to licensure. How long does it take someone to go from starting the path to earning their architect license to actually receiving it and being able to practice? So the primary components of the path to licensure currently are education, experience, and exam. We like to call them the 3 E's internally. So in the education component of the path, this is typically where candidates spend most of their time. It takes about 5 to 7 years to earn that degree. We have a number of different options depending on what kind of degree you have, but most candidates have a 5-year architecture degree. Sometimes they have a master's, so that's where we get closer to that 7-year number. Once they're done with the degree is typically when they start working on the experience, which is kind of like an internship. We don't say that candidates can't start earning those hours in school, but most candidates do stagger the two. And so once they start working on those hours, that's typically another 5 years, I believe 4.9 exactly in last year's report, but typically about another 5 years spent earning those hours across the different areas. Then candidates can take the test. They can actually take it sooner, but again, we don't usually see candidates kind of overlapping these programs. We typically see them doing them in a linear way. So the exam component of the path, it takes about 2.5 years to get through. We are hoping that this time will kind of continue shortening now that we've introduced practice exams and also made a number of other changes around how we support candidates in this portion of the path. So in fact, in 2023, the time to complete the exam actually went down by 5 months, which was really exciting. And we'll keep watching the trends there as well. I should also note that this time to licensure includes time that might not necessarily be actively spent doing one of these 3 things. So if a candidate is in between school and working on those hours, or in between jobs while they're working on hours, or takes a break between the internship and the exam piece, that time is also factored into the time to licensure. So it's the whole time spent between the first activity and getting that license on the path. I should also say, we don't necessarily say, if we say 13.3 years for the time to licensure, we don't mean that everybody takes 13.3 years, right? So we have a distribution of how long it takes different people. And we calculate it using the median specifically, which kind of helps us control for some of these extreme outliers we sometimes have where people take like a really long time or sort of miraculously very little time. And so we're looking at the median in that data set. But if we look at the distribution of candidates, we actually see that about 30% complete the path, or each individual component of the path, faster than the average. So there's a diversity of experiences, but 13.3 years is what we are still seeing as the median time to licensure. So when we say that it takes 13.3 years to complete the path to licensure, we don't necessarily mean every single candidate takes exactly 13.3 years, right? There's a whole different range of experiences on this. And so if we look at the distribution of how long it takes different candidates, we actually see about a third do complete it faster than the average. And so we hope that candidates can complete the path in a time that is conducive to their life, right? It's a lot involved in becoming an architect. It makes sense that it does take a while. We just want to be as supportive as possible to the candidates on their journey.